Talk to Him, a show where we discuss self-help strategies, money, music, fashion, education, relationships, love, and how it all links to financial success. Be sure to hit that like button and also that follow button as well too. And while you're at it, share. It costs you nothing to share, folks. It's a small act for you, but it means everything to us as the content creator. I'm your host for this show. My name is James LeVeque. Talk to him. Come vibe with me. Come on, vibe with me.
Yes, sir.
Listen, folks, we got my main man, Mr. Nigger, in the house again. All right? This is it. Today, I'm joined once again by herbalist, formulator, wellness advocate, Mr. Nigger, owner of Top Notch Wellness Center in Brockton, Mass. Listen, this is going to be one of those episodes that we're exploring a powerful and thought-provoking theme. Y'all ready for this? Black woman and why the world will not change until she comes home to the Creator. Right? It's a conversation about identity, spirituality, healing, and a pivotal role that the black woman in shaping our world's future. So lean in, open your heart, and let's get into it. Mr. Nigger, how you doing, brother?
Welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, man. Thank you for pulling up, man.
Yes, sir.
You know, man, this title, right?
Yes,
the
sir.
black woman and why the world will not change until she comes home to the Creator, right? Can you unpack what that statement means to you?
Well, the black woman being the mother of life, and it's taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Nation of Islam. He said, no nation can rise any higher than its woman. So that's a bold statement. So if no nation can rise any higher than its woman, the woman is a cornerstone, the essence, you know what I mean, of society. And what we have to understand is that we have to now look at her differently. You know what I'm saying? And what she truly represents. Because she's the masterpiece of life. You understand? And when you begin to understand your existence and your journey and your evolution from the unknown world into the physical construct, you begin to have a greater appreciation for her and what she truly represents and her connection to life and her connection to the Creator of life. You see?
Let me ask you this, right? What inspired you to focus specifically on the black women? Why not the white women, the Asian women, the Hispanic women? Why the black women?
Because she's a mother. She's the DNA vibratory energy that all human beings come from.
Oh, shit. Can break that down a little bit?
Through the process of hybridization and mechanicalization and crossbred species, all species by DNA comes out of the black woman. White, Chinese, I mean, you name it. Every human being hybrid that you can think of or even conceive come out of the black woman. She is the essence of what makes things happen when it comes to human beings on the planet.
Wow.
And when you truly understand that, you begin to look at her differently. She's not an object of pleasure. Okay? She's more than that. One of the reasons why the focus has to be on her is because that the whole world is in the condition that it's in because she is not acting in accord of her true representation. When I say you have the divine connection to the Creator of life, to the source, that's something for you to have a mental epiphany of, just like immediately. Just stop and think about that, okay? Because you are the producer of life, and you shape the destiny of every nation, kindred, and tongue. You shape that destiny. So if you're sick mentally and you become more physically indoctrinated by the physical world, what can you pass on to the heirs, the children that comes from your world?
Sickness.
sickness.
Yeah.
Exactly. So she has to understand. No one can teach her anything. I am not even qualified to even teach her. Okay, I'll tell you that right now, because I come out of her world. But looking at the condition of us as a people, the only way the planet can stop wobbling is for her to come home, come back to the creative life. And
Let me ask you this, right? You said come home to the Creator. What does that journey look like, right? In, let's say, practical terms, or even like spiritual terms. Like, how does she start coming home? You know what I mean? What does that look like?
Well, first, she's gonna have to denounce and reject everything that she has been taught.
That's hard, man. Sisters is looking like, I don't know about that.
I'm talking religion,
Yeah.
politics, jurisprudence, economics, the social system, education, what has conditioned consciousness outside the vernacular of its true representation. She's going to have to delete all of that. And deleting that is very easy. Their language in English that is of a higher upper echelon, okay, by sentence structure, narratives, and phrases that can actually reverse, her consciousness on a higher level of positive vibration. Okay, good books and things that you can read to change that and to remove those engrams and those impressions that are embedded in consciousness that allow you to see through the prism of this reality and not through the prism of life. It's very important for her to understand. So it is a journey, and going back into herself. She got to go within. She cannot go without. Without is not going to solve the problems. Going within is identifying with the energy and her electrical vibration, her thought process, how she thinks, becoming the commander in chief of the energy that she puts out.
Yeah.
That's key.
Yeah.
That is the essence of her true resurrection. Okay? The rest is just the aftermath of that. And recognizing that she is not second to anyone or anything, but second only to the creator of life.
Wow.
Okay? She doesn't have to go through any man or go through any entity or deity or pastor or leader. She doesn't have to go through anyone.
Yeah.
Her direct contact and connection is to the creator of life.
Yeah. So here's my question that I have as a black man, right? What role have we as black men, what role have we played with them not coming home? What role have we played, and what role can we play with them, or how can we better support them as they're making that journey to come on home?
You see, good question. Everything starts in the womb. You can't identify with anything with the condition or the state of mind that we're in right now, because a lot of us are mentally ill. And it's a great question, but it starts in her womb.
Yeah.
The changes for a new vision, a new reality, a new world starts in her womb. It starts in with her thinking. And to do that, we're going to have to set up systems and institutions that protects that. Okay? And protect the sanctity of her thoughts and her energy and her vibration and her consciousness. So that when she produced from her womb, she's producing giants. She's not producing anything that's going to enslave her energy back to her. She's producing something that is beyond how the world view women in general.
Yeah.
And it starts off by us as men
Yeah.
raising funds, setting up systems, setting up institutions, okay, and teaching them or getting them to come together as women.
Right.
Okay? And, they have to get rid of the worldview from their thought process.
Yeah.
Because how you see your sister as sister to sister, you can't see it from the world perspective. You have to see it from a very spiritual standpoint. Okay? Because envy, jealousy, backbiting each other, doing each other in, all those things have to go out the window. Those things come from the worldview, how you were conditioned to perceive each other as sisters. So They are the only one that can solve that problem amongst themselves. Again, like I said, we are not qualified to teach them anything. All I can do is raise the standard that the world is not going to change until she wakes up. Mm-hmm. Nothing is going to change until she wakes up. When she wakes up, everything stops.
So here's my thing now, right? Because we're living in 2025, and I agree with 100% what it is that you're saying. But also, our women today is very focused on the worldview, right? And a lot of the times, the argument now is like, I can't date or I can't be with a man unless they make a certain amount of money, or unless they're at a certain light, or they're being seen at a certain light. And it's almost like there's a competition between men and women, right? But also the black man and the black women as well too. It's almost like we're constantly competing each other, right? Because that is what there's the fight about, right? There's a fight. It's almost like man versus women. This is this, man is this, woman is that. And nobody is coming along and saying, hey, we need each other. You know what I'm saying? We need each other.
How did they become like that?
So here's,
how did this fight come into play? We got to deal with that, right?
Yeah.
Right. How did this happen? Who has violated them and violated you and put you at odds against each other? Because you certainly didn't do it.
Yeah.
She didn't do it. What influence is she under that she has this high expectation of the physical world to demand from you what she already has?
That went over my head. Say that again. See, that went over my head. Say that again?
What expectation?
Yeah.
Okay. That she has of you, that she already has. She has everything. Everything that makes up this universe, she has. Okay. She don't need you. For her to recognize what she don't need, if she focus on you, then it's going to rob her of herself. If she focus on herself and the Creator, she can never be robbed of anything. She's going to have everything. See? But there is no such thing as women versus men, men versus women. No, that comes from a lack of understanding of our role.
Yes.
As a people.
Yeah.
And we are at odds with each other like this because we are under the influence of a system that fosters that type of thinking and that type of mentality. Okay? This is the reason why I said we have to come out of her. You understand? We have to come out of a system and a thinking and set up in our community institutions and system that will reform her and reform our black men, not on a religious level, but on a spiritual level and a spiritual connection to the Creator of life. Because you don't have to go through anyone to have this connection. You have this internal voice within yourself that you have a direct connection to the source. You don't have to go through anyone, okay? You have this connection, but we have to set up a system and teach our women and our men how to bring this about, because the respect of the black community is not going to happen until we actually come into full-blown consciousness on a level where we can be respected, okay, and have dignity, okay, where even though we're not concerned about what comes from our DNA, other people who don't like us, okay, I don't ever buy into that type of energy. I don't care if you don't like me. I don't care if you're a racist. It doesn't matter to me.
Right.
What matters to me is my focal point of me being the mother and father of your life. And if you choose to disrespect your mother and father, then that says something about you. Because if I brought you here and you want to call me a nigger, or you want to disrespect me, or you want to take me out of, excuse me,
It's all good.
you know what I mean, out of me, call me out of my name,
Yeah.
and you choose to do that, then that's on you.
Yeah.
That doesn't have anything to do with me.
Wow.
You understand what I'm saying to you? That's your choice. And these are the decisions that you made for yourself as a hybrid person, as a crossbred species person who think you're better than a person that is black. These are the decisions that you make. But your decision,
AI assistant created by Google.
your decision, don't have
talking that
anything
talk
to
right
do
now.
with me.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm trying to say to you?
Absolutely.
And we can't give life and energy to how you feel based on your expression.
Yeah.
We can't give life and energy to that. You're a waste of time. I wouldn't even have conversation with you.
Right.
Okay? You don't make any sense. And you have the right to feel how you feel and behave how you behave. The one thing that you don't have the right to do is to project that energy on me. You don't have that right.
Right.
And I don't have the right to receive it or even answer it. I don't have that right either. So we have to teach our people partitioning. You know what I mean? We have to teach our people dignity and self-respect and teach them in a way where they don't have to be reactive to everything.
Right.
They can be proactive in intelligence, in consciousness, and taking their powers back, okay, from it being used against them in ways that if we had the knowledge, we don't have to subject ourselves to outside stimulus. You see? So these are things that we got to think about.
So there's something that you mentioned earlier that I wanted to touch upon, right? You mentioned like we look at our black women as like sex objects, you know, and it's not everybody, but also our society. That's where it's at right now. You know, we look at some of even the outfits like women wear nowadays with the spandex, almost like yoga pants, and you know, you go on social media and it's almost like you see the twerking, you know. And as a man, you know, I'll take a look, but I'm not gonna like it. I'm not gonna, because that's just not my thing. You know what I mean?
But real society starts with you.
That is true, right? But also, right, as a man, right, you are gonna look, because the black woman is beautiful, very beautiful. How shapely she is, how just wonderful her just physical. She's attracting and what it is that we like, right? But I just think like the world has found a way to almost like, it almost makes it a little bit like dirty a little bit. You know what I mean?
But if you see her on that level,
Yeah.
right, it's not coming from life.
Yeah.
It's coming from a dead perspective.
Yeah.
Okay? You want to see her in the divinity of her nature and also in the divinity of your nature.
I don't know, man. She be twerking. You know,
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if she twerks.
You know?
That's her job.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
carries that energy.
That's true.
But it's up to us now to see her as a reproductive mechanism that supports life.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay? But if we see her as an object of pleasure, then that's what we're going to produce.
That's true.
So by your thinking and you producing in her, the aftermath of what she produces is yourself.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So the imagery of how you perceive her is when the chemistry of the sperm, the egg, the clot, the embryo, the fetus, all that stuff come together. The chemistry of that, okay, is divine. The divinity of that, okay, which she represents and carry, and also gives you and me the journey to come here to continue to reproduce in her, right, is something that we have to hold at a high standard. Not at a standard, because everything is vibrating and everything around us, this place, is just an illusion. So if you're caught up into the illusion of something that is tangible and not something that is intangible, then you have just lost yourself. You're not coming up in the consciousness to reflect the divinity of what it is that you're looking at. Because what you're looking at is life itself, the second source, the female organism, the female second self of the creator of life that gives life to the planet. So if you're looking at her as just her beauty is going to fade.
Right.
Nothing lasts forever. She's a channeling everlasting energy through her and reproducing that energy at the same time. That's what she is.
Yeah.
So you have to see her as a higher manifestation of that. And we're just experiencing the experience of this physical construct, okay? Because we're not here forever,
Right.
okay? We now got to find a way to get back to that so we can leave this place, this physical plane, and think on a higher level.
Right.
You know what I mean? Of
Let-
spirituality.
You said a lot in that. And let me ask you this. How about, because I feel like women now, and not all women, right? Because you will find some women who are operating in their femininity.
Right.
But also you find a lot of women are operating in their masculinity as well too. And the reason why I say that is because, and I'm not blaming women on that, you know, I'm not blaming women on that. I'm blaming, just like you had mentioned, the system that we're in, right? The system that we're in, it really puts them kind of like in a masculine way where they feel like, you know what, I have to work, I have to do this, I have to take care of the children, I have to do all these things, right? Like, how do we combat that, bro? Like, what is, you know, like, because that's a real thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like, especially, it's the energy. The energy is very, you know?
I understand.
Like, how do we combat that?
You combat that by, see what they have done, okay, is exacerbated, because the female carry both X and Y chromosome.
Yes.
Okay. So what they have done, they have exacerbated the power potential of that which she carries in her nature over and above her femininity. They have exacerbated that, where that becomes more dominant.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So some are very unaware of it, and some are very aware of it, and they're using it for different purposes and different reasons. Okay? I'm saying that if your masculine side develops more over your feminine side, that's a problem if you're a female,
Yeah.
because you carry both. We have a lot of that running around here right now. Okay? How do we get them to recognize the divinity of both X and Y chromosome and understand the femininity of one aspect of it over and above the other? That's going to take some education.
Yeah.
That's going to take some training. This is the reason why the problem that we have in our community is I wouldn't say it's a societal problem. It's an issue that we have to now take upon ourselves to correct, because society is going to continue to exacerbate our energy and use that energy for its own purposes. We have to combat that. I don't get involved in the blame game of who does what, because we have a $2.2 trillion black spending power in this country. And what do we have to show for it in our community?
Nothing.
Nothing but churches and liquor store. And now we have a ton of dispensary in Brockton.
That's true.
More than churches.
That's true.
Okay?
Yeah.
Why? Because as you smoke the dispensary weed, right, what it does is shut down your pineal glands. It shut down your testosterone. You're young, but then you have issues in the sexual arena. At your age of 25 to 30,
Yeah.
you don't have blood flow downstairs. Okay? And sisters are using the sensitivity of that also from smoking that weed, the dispensary weed, the drugs, the chemicals. You have cigarettes, you know. There's 230 different types of chemicals in cigarettes that you're smoking. I mean, that interfere with your biological structure. See? So now you have, since we won't come together collectively and understand what has happened to us and shift the blame game off of people that we want to put the blame game on and put the blame on ourselves and take up the responsibility to correct our own issues, change the dynamics of our own community so we can be self-respected again and stop the killing, the shooting, and all the things that we are subjected to. When we come together, we can say, look, we don't want no dispensary in our neighborhood. We don't want no liquor stores in our neighborhood. These things got to go. Okay, they have to go if we don't want it. But if we are destroyed and fragmented, how can you make that kind of demand?
can't.
You can't. It's impossible. So you have to understand the value of a female, the value of life, and the value of your connection to the source and your connection to the creator to be able to understand what I'm saying to you. You have to have that state of thought.
Let me ask you this, right? What about some fellas who's watching this, right? And they may have baby mama drama, or whatever it is that they got, right? How is it that they can, and they're like, man, I love what you're saying, Mr. Nigger. I want to be able to, although I'm going through these problems, I want to be able to get along with the mothers of my children. I want to be able to, be able to raise our children, because I feel like that's something that's tearing the black family apart, which is child support. You know what I mean? And shoot, I'm gonna be real. Like I've gone through that. You know what I mean? Currently going through it, and it's something that's like that you're looking back and you're like saying, man, like I'm going through this. What and you take responsibility for your actions, but also how can you actually mend the situation for the children, right? That's coming up, because once they seen mom and dad, they're fighting, and it's almost like there's no family. You know what I mean? So how do people how do the men watching this, right, who's going through that situation, who's gone through that situation, and is able to, kind of mend that relationship?
You set up counseling sessions. You can't mend relationships unless you know what the pain of the father is going through. You can't mend relationship unless you know what the pain of the mother is going through. Because she has her experience with that father, and the father has his experience with her. The problem is that there was never any balance in the way of justice where they can see each other beyond their pain.
Yeah.
So counseling got to be set up, and the two parties got to come together. Mother does not have to put him on child support, because every man wants to take care of their children, okay? But I don't want you tying my hands to do it. I want to do it of my own free will.
Right.
And what the state does is take away your free will to be able to take care of your children. So there's a lot of stress on you as a black man. Not only you got weekly payments that you have to pay, okay? And if you don't pay it, your license gets suspended.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's things that happen to you.
Garnish your wages, all of that.
Yeah, but these things were set up on a level to continue to enslave you to a system. We have to find a way now to amend our relationship so we don't continue to hurt each other. So counseling. I'm talking about counseling, getting to the root of what it is that you have done to that black woman that made her lash out at you the way that she did. Sometimes it could be another woman. Sometimes it could be another man. Sometimes it could be how you left the relationship. There are many issues, but you have to sit down and deal with it in a way where there's harmony.
Yeah.
Because these children didn't ask to come here.
No.
We brought them here, right? So how do we fix it so there's a sense of unity and harmony among us as a people? That's a big topic of discussion.
Yeah.
And a lot of us are going through that right now in our community and are suffering from that, particularly if you lost your jobs. There are things that we can do. If I have 5 black men, as an example, okay, if we all come together, one of the things about coming together as black men, we have to realize that none of us are here permanently. Right. We're just passing through. We're just a channel, right? So let's say, for instance, the system is built on credit. Let's say you have a 700 credit score. I have a 700 credit score. He has a 700 credit score, 700. All of us come together, right? And say we had a job where we were making salaries $40,000 a year. And we agreed to set up a corporation or trust or an LLC and put the funds of that into that corporation. In about 2 years or so, or 3 years or so, we have what? $500,000. We're sitting down with banks. All 5 of us sitting down with the banks. But we have never tried unity to do this. We tried envy. We tried jealousy. We tried backbiting each other. We tried doing each other in. We tried all of the defects and the characteristics that we were taught that keeps us apart. But we have never tried the unity of us as a people. But to try the unity of us, you have to understand you're just passing through. It's a channel. In other words, we're not here forever, but we have to lay a foundation for our children. So how do you lay that foundation for your children? You start by saving and putting your money together. Now we can go down to the bank and say, look, we want to see your foreclosure portfolio. Citizens Bank, Bank of America, Harbor One. They all have foreclosed property. Okay, so we can sit down and talk to them and say, look, we have $500,000. What is this property going for? And we buy it. We all become deed owners, corporate owners. We have HVAC, plumbers, carpenter, construction workers. We put all of them into a database, okay? And we ask them for their services. And we put our monies together and we come up with a plaza or buy homes, or there are things that we can do, okay, where you can take care of your family. He can take care of his family. You know what I mean? Like the funds can go around where we can take care of each other. We don't have to feel like we have to hurt each other or enslave each other to get the results of what I'm talking about. We don't have to do that.
We don't, but also black people don't be trusting each other like that.
It's okay. Trust is predicated on doing. When you have a lack of trust, it's because somebody's not doing right.
That's true.
You get what I'm saying? You're not upfront. You're not honest.
Yeah.
Right? So the thing is, right, if 5 of us came together as a model, let's say we're going to open up look in the community and we studied the community. What does the community need? We need a daycare center. And we need to get licensed by the state to operate a daycare center. You have to come in, make sure everything is approved, go through the process, right? But everyone who has to go to work, mothers who have to go to work, drop their children off. We have an educational section, but it's a community thing.
Right.
It's not just in the basement of your home or something tucked away. It's a community thing. And we have staff there, okay? We have nurses there. This is big what I'm talking about. It's not something very small, okay? But we don't have that type of leadership that will bring the common thread of that together. You understand? Not only that, there's so much we can do, okay, as black men to take care of our families without hurting each other, okay? For instance, you live in an apartment, but then you have a 700 credit score. Your wife has a 700 credit score. But you guys, she makes, what, 40,000? You make what, 50,000? It's $90,000.
Coming into the household.
Coming into the household. Okay, good. We got to look at your debt ratio, okay? Your front end, your back end, how money recycles. And we say, okay, good. Now you're qualified for a $500,000 home. But I don't recommend you buying a 1 family. I recommend you buying a 3 family. Why? Because you're going to come from an apartment to a 3 family, and when you move from a 3 family to a single family, that single family, first of all, you can pay your mortgage on your primary home.
Right.
You understand? You don't jump from an apartment to a 1 family. You're going to have some problems because if you lose your job, you're going to 2 or 3 months.
Absolutely.
Foreclosure.
Yes.
So you got to be smart. So you always got to think in a way where you have some kind of backup. You know what I'm saying? And that's very important for us to understand that. You see, so all of these things can be done. We just need to have an example in the community that demonstrate that it can be done.
Right.
Yo,
that's what you're saying is very, very powerful. And I would love to do that. I would love to be a part of that unit or that group, that 5 brothers who's honorable and who wants to just make that happen.
Yeah.
Because I think that's something that could easily do.
Yeah, of course.
Let me ask you this. Being in the field that you're in, what role do practices like herbal medicine, natural living, or cultural traditions play in supporting the return of the black woman?
First of all, She has to detox all the garbage out of her system
In her mind.
and her thoughts.
Yeah.
And we got to clean her up and detox her. And we have to also make sure she has all the mineral that suffices a biological structure.
What minerals would that be?
Minerals meaning that, she's a female. She has monthly cycle.
Right, okay.
Right, so what does she need? She needs vegetarian iron. Iron that is made from plants. She doesn't need iron from a laboratory or a prescription because those iron have oxide. And oxide is a chemical that they have in the iron that it actually, and when you take it, it hardens your intestines and the food you eat. So it's hard for you to poop and go to the bathroom if you're taking that kind of iron from a laboratory or prescribed by a doctor. But if you go to Whole Food or if you come to Top Notch or any local health food store, you can get a vegetarian iron. The vegetarian iron, what it does is fires up the system. It fires up the white copper blood cells and the red copper blood cells. That's what it does, okay? And that will prevent you from becoming anemic. So this minerals is repairing the system. And now we got to put her on a strict diet because now her energy and her taste bud has been conditioned outside the vernacular of life, right? So we got to put her on a strict diet. You're going to eat between 4 and 7, which if you come and see me, I'm going to put you to eat between 4 and 7, okay? Why? No breakfast, no pancakes, no white flour. Anything white that has that's made of white flour is uric acid, lactic acid, carbonic acid. Anything that you eat that has white flour is going to swim into your bloodstream and cause calcium carbonate, okay? Calcium carbonate is like a plaque, like plaque in your teeth.
Yeah.
Only difference, it invades your skin, blood, and lymphatic system. And what it does, it causes cancer. This thing that white pus that you squeeze out of your skin, that's calcium carbonate.
Wow.
Okay? And that white pus is what is inside the liver, the kidney, the prostate, these areas of the body that from eating the rice, the chicken, the red meat, the pork, the yuca, the potatoes, all the pasta, all these things that we've been conditioned to eat, we can't eat that stuff anymore. That diet is not for you.
Yeah. Because
you're a carbon-based black man and carbon-based black woman. Your food and your diet is green food. You can have a piece of wild salmon. They have this rice you can get from Whole Food. It's called the Leeuwenburg black rice. You can eat that little pack of rice like this. You can eat that. It's black. The pH on that, I believe, is about 7 or 8. Okay, it's not going to turn into acid that easy, but it's dark. It's not acidic. Okay, so you can have that. You want to protect your biological structure so you can live long, for your children.
Right.
Okay, so you can have salmon, and you can have dandelion root, kale, Mexican plum tomato, watercress, anything green that you want to juice and drink and eat is protecting the system and preventing these diseases from happening to you.
What about the mental now?
The mental,
yeah.
The mental comes from your divine connection to the source. Let me give you an example. Did you bring yourself here?
No.
Did you evolve yourself here from life into the physical construct?
No.
No, you didn't. So what is your relationship to the unknown that you don't know? What is your relationship? Have you ever thought about your relationship to the unknown that you don't know?
I mean, people would say they pray, they might meditate, they might.
And what is that? These are words.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
These words don't change human beings.
Right.
These are slogans. You understand that? Belief is a thinking. Knowing is different from belief. When you know something, okay, it's different from believing. Believing is just vicariously out there, right? I believe, but you don't know.
Right.
It's difference, okay, between believing and knowing, right? So what you have to understand within yourself is that your spiritual connection comes from the Creator, comes from the Father, okay? And the moment you begin to go within and reconnect within yourself, your spirituality, which is germane to your inner voice, your inner self, is going to come to fruition. You're going to realize that the real commander-in-chief of your physiology is not words, but the energy that governs your physical structure. This energy is everything. And is tied to the unknown, which comes from, again, the black woman. So that spiritual connection is very important, very pregnant. You can't, the way we are taught now is that we have to go through God the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost, just to get to the Creator. We're taught this.
Yeah.
But that is traditional, okay? And I'm not going to insult that. But what I am saying, you don't need that to have a relationship with the source.
Okay. Got you.
You can have a relationship. These standards of cultural indoctrination were not a part of you and my evolution. So why do I need to subject myself to them to have a relationship with my Father, with the Creator? I don't need to.
Right.
So do I go to church? Sure, I'll go to church and see what our people are doing. Do I love the church? Sure, I love the church. But this indoctrination, this religiosity has completely displaced our energy in a way where it has not served the purpose of humanity in the way of unification. It has served the purpose of humanity in the way of dichotomy, but not unification.
When you say dichotomy, what does that mean?
Separation, different religion,
Okay.
different, there's different hue, different everything.
Yes, absolutely.
You understand that?
Yeah.
Now, but there is no separation in energy. Energy is one. The source is one. And when you find that oneness and connect to it and realize that you are part of the oneness of life, then positive and negative you got positive, you have negative. The reason why it's like that is because of the wobble that is in human nature.
Right.
You see? There's a wobble in the universe, okay, as it spins. You understand? It travels at a speed of 1,037 1/3 miles per hour on its axis, 23 degrees to the plane of its orbit. That's how it travels, oblong, egg-shaped, spinning, okay? Now, we are part of that wobble. That wobble comes from divine. The reason why you have a yin and yang and positive, negative and positive charge, because we're trying to experiment with it. But when we come back to the whole, the essence of it, there is no negative, there is no positive charge. There are black entities, dark entities, okay, that came from creation, that are here, in different worlds. And they're in competition with the Creator. They are responsible for the construction of the physical construct. The technology, society, everything that you see here is set up by them in contravention against the Creator of life that does not operate on the level of the physical plane.
I get what you're saying.
You understand?
Yeah.
The Creator of life operate on the laws of its manifestation. But there was a split in nature, okay, that allow us to be on the side experiencing this wobble that's in our nature.
Yeah.
This positive and negative. Everything when you think of a laboratory, they're experimenting.
Right.
Everything is about experimentation. But when you reconnect, the Father, the Creator of life, begins to feed you in a way where the weight of the world begins to leave you. You don't have that pressure on you no more.
Right.
You don't have fear factor on you anymore. You don't live by fear anymore. You live by the energy and truth and what is going to happen to you in that moment. That's how you live, and that's how you vibrate.
That was deep. that was deep. Oh man. If the world truly depends on black women's reconnection with the Creator, what responsibility do you think does that place on all of us, right? No matter the background or the identity, right? What responsibility does that place on us? So the question was, if the world truly depends on the black woman's reconnection with the Creator, right? What responsibility does that place on all of us, right?
Right.
No matter the background or the identity or the race or anything.
Right.
Yeah.
The responsibility is for all of us to support her and to lift her up and to see her as a model example of humanity and society. That's our responsibility. We cannot continue to denigrate her and expect us to have a nation the way that it is now. So it's our responsibility to put all of the things in place, the systems, the institutions, the education, the training. It's all of our responsibility to make sure that she's upheld and she lived according to the standard of what you're asking me. You understand? Absolutely. And that's everyone. That's black, white, Chinese, you name it. You understand? Outside of racism, outside of class and culture. Okay? Because if I brought you here, I'm your daddy. That's why you were taught in the Bible to honor your mother and father, that your days may be long upon the planet which the Lord thy God, the creator of life, has given thee. But you have dishonored your mother and father. You have no respect for your mother and father. You understand? When you begin to really look at that differently, you begin to see her differently.
You're right.
See?
Yeah.
She is a very talented human being.
Oh yeah, very.
Very talented, smart. Okay? All of that smart, the skill, the energy of that is being enslaved by dogma and ritual. All of it is being enslaved to support a society that is an illusion, that is not real, that is dying. So she has to recognize the epiphany of her energy and reverse that immediately. Otherwise, nothing is changing.
Man, that was powerful. This was a very powerful conversation, and I'm happy we had this, man. I think the universe, God was like, yo, we need to have this conversation.
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you this. What final message do you want to leave with the black woman, right? And with the world about the power of this return?
My final message to the black woman is to go home and look in the mirror. As Michael Jackson said, I'm looking at the man in the mirror. And realize that I'm just a servant, a channel. My physiology is going to leave me one day. All of this goes. But what is in me is everlasting life. And reconnect that everlasting life to the source that you did not give yourself. If you had given it to yourself, then you would have no connection to your own journey. But since you did not give the life force to yourself, you owe it to the creator of life to give it back to the source in your representation of the physical construct and the physiology of yourself. You owe it to the creator. And as far as the world is concerned, the world has to now look at the black woman from a different perspective and see her not as an object of pleasure, but to see her differently and want to lift her up and help her to come into who and what she really is, so that the world can recover, because nothing is going to change here, okay, until she wakes up. When she wakes up, it's all over. Okay, dignity, morality, how we treat each other, all that will begin to change when she wakes up.
Wow.
And that's my message.
I love that. Man, I love that. What a powerful conversation. We've touched on deep truths about the spiritual power of black women, the journey back to the Creator, and the hope for transformation that ripples through families, communities, and the world. huge thank you to my man, Mr.
Thank you.
Nigger.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate
brother.
it, man.
Appreciate you,
Yes.
man,
Yes,
for
sir.
bringing his wisdom and his passion to this space. And thank you all for tuning in and listening and being part of this amazing conversation in this journey. Remember, healing begins when we embrace who we are and honor the wisdom nature provides. Until next time, live, love, light. I'll holla. Peace and blessings.
Peace and blessings. Yes, sir.